Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Welcome to my craft room. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I have a fun project planned for you featuring the brand new products from Concord 9th. They're available today, December 9th, over at the Concord 9th website. I'll have links to everything that I use in the video description below. But when I saw these products, I knew that I had to try something. And it's kind of a little tiny bit of engineering. I've only thought this out in my mind as I drove to get my Starbucks this morning. So we'll hope that all of this kind of comes together. By the way, if you're wondering what I'm drinking, it's a venti sugar-free vanilla latte with whipped cream and cinnamon powder. So there you go. But enough about that. You don't want to know about that. Let's have a look at what I'm creating with today. You can see the products that I'll be using, as I mentioned, brand new from Concord 9th. This is the all wrapped up stamp and coordinating die set. It's available as a bundle or individually. But look at this, and keep in mind, whenever you get packaging, I tend to throw it out, but sometimes I regret doing that because it has some really good ideas on it. So maybe don't throw it away right away. But I thought it would be fun to create a pocket card featuring this die set and coordinating stamp set. Now I've also pulled out some new dies. These are the short and sweet dies from Concord 9th, also new this month, and a couple brand new stencils. It's the Quirky stripe and the Deco stencil pack. So I thought I would make a couple of birthday cards. I thought I would do it live style so I could kind of talk you through my process because, as I mentioned, I've only thought about it up here. I haven't ever kind of created this. And I thought I would use a color palette that's kind of fresh and springy, but it can lean a little masculine. Yes, there's some grapefruit in there. If you wanted it to lean a little more masculine, you could probably substitute sorbet instead. It's a little bit richer. But you know me, I'm a grapefruit girl when it comes to Concord 9th. And so I thought I would use this color palette, Juniper, Tidepool, Lemongrass, and Grapefruit, to create today's projects. We'll see how it goes. But for now, I'm going to take myself out of this little circle right here, and we're just going to get to creating. So I have this all here, and as I mentioned, I've thought this out, but I don't really know if it's going to work. And my idea is to create a gift with a pocket that slides out. So I kind of know, I'm guessing based on, I've measured this here. I'm kind of guessing how they've designed these based on measuring just that one little strip here. So I'm going to grab some Concord 9th white cardstock, and I'm going to grab a paper trimmer, and I'm going to start by trimming a square of cardstock. I want it to be 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to actually maybe do 2 of these because I kind of have 2 cards planned, one for each stencil. So I'll just cut 2 of everything right now, and we'll just, hope it all works out. 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 for the second square as well. Actually, that worked out perfectly. And for this other piece, so here's what I have in mind. I have in mind that it would be a backer with tabs all the way around on 3 sides. So a tab here, a tab here, a tab here. That will make the back part of our pocket. So I need 1/4 inch wider on each side. So if this is 4 1/4, I need it 4 1/2 by 4 3/4. Okay, so stick with me. I know this is a lot of math, but we can do this together. So I'm cutting it to 4 1/2 by 4 3/4, right, like that. And then I'm going to need another sheet of cardstock. Just so happen to have one here. 4 1/2 by 4 3/4. Okay, as I mentioned before, I've not made this. I've only thought about it in my head. So these are the things that happen in my head as I'm driving to get my Starbucks in the morning. That's a really bad habit that I've created for myself. So we're going to work on that after Christmas is over. So I'm just grabbing a score tool here. And on these pieces, these are the 4.5 by 4 3/4 pieces. I'm going to score at 1/4 inch on the 3 sides. So you're going to want to make sure that you're doing it on, there's a longer edge, that's going to be the 2-sided scoring, and there's a shorter edge, that's going to be the single-sided scoring. So I'm going to go, and it may be easier just to do it like this. And by the way, I have 2 dogs. I love them very much. They run the house, and they are going to be talking apparently this morning. So I'm just doing 1/4 inch, oops, 1/4 inch. So that was the longer edge. And then on this side, I'm going to turn it and I'm going to do 1/4 inch, but just on that bottom part. And this will make sense here. Hopefully, maybe it's already making sense to you. So you can see I have 2 tabs on either side and 1 tab. Now you could make these tabs a little bit wider, but 1/4 inch I thought would give me enough to accomplish what I need to accomplish. And I'm using the Altenew scoreboard here today. Whatever scoreboard you have is totally fine. And so on the long edge, I've done the 2 tabs, and then I'm going to rotate this and do a tab on the bottom. Okay. The hardest part is over, y'all. That's the hard part. I'm going to grab some scissors out of my drawer. So let me just set that score tool aside. Hold on just a second. Let me talk to Charlie about her barking. Okay, we had a little conversation. I think we're going to be done for a few minutes. Now I'm going to take each of these that I have scored. So you can see my tab on the sides and on the bottom. And there's a little square that has been made by my scoring. I'm going to trim that out on both sides of both pieces. So it will look like that with that little notch out. And I'm just using those score lines to kind of guide me in my trimming. And then what I'm going to do is just take and trim like a little angle out of each of these. Now, there may be some sort of die that creates this. I'm not sure. This is pretty large for a die. Charlie. We're apparently not done with the barking. Okay. So this is pretty easy, right? So now this is what it looks like. You have your tab here, a little angle there, a little angle there. I'm not putting anything super small in this pocket, so if the angles are not just right, it's not a big deal. But now that I'm thinking about it, what you could probably do is just take where that corner meets. See that corner square that's made right there by my score lines? You could probably just go like this. Whack. And just like that. Yep, that'll totally work. So I have the same sort of thing. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to fold all of my tabs on those score lines. So this is going to be the back of our pocket, and then this is going to create the front of our pocket. Just like that. And then we're going to have a little card on the inside that slides out. My idea. This is my idea. This is all in a perfect world, right? My idea is that then we would have a little card on the inside with the bow on the top, and the bow would be where you're going to pull it out. So we'll see if it works. Okay. Just want to fold all those down very nicely, and then I will do it on the other one as well. Okay, so I have both of my back of the pocket created. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to grab some 1/8 inch score tape, And I'm just gonna prep these because I know that I'm gonna need it anyway. I'm not gonna adhere these yet, but I'm just going to add it onto the tabs that have been folded over so that it's ready to go when I'm ready to adhere it. And then I'm gonna set these aside and I'm gonna start working on the front of my gifts. Now the front of my gifts are going to be this portion here. So those will be where I'll do all my decorating. And I think I'm going to do that with the stencils that I've pulled out. Okay, so both of these have the adhesive on them. I can set those aside to make sure that I don't get anything on them. And I just thought about it. I'm going to go ahead and create the inside card for these as well. I'm going to do it out of white cardstock, and I'm going to cut those. Ooh, do I want to do a full 1/4 inch? I think I want it to be a little bit. Let's do 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. So 4 1/8 and 4 1/8. And then the thing about this is you have to make sure you don't get these mixed up with the ones that you've created for the front. So I'll make sure that I set these aside with the back because we won't need them until kind of more towards the end. So those are the 4 1/8. Those will be the inner cards that we've created. So what do we have so far? We have 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. We have 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. And then we had these that were 4 3/4 by 4 1/2 that we scored and done. So I'm going to put these, I'm going to just make sure, will this fit nice and snug? Oh yeah, that's exactly, so this will be the card that pulls out. I'm going to slide these in and set them to the side with the backers. And then we can start working on some stenciling for the front of these cards. I'm going to grab my Waffle Flower grip mat. I love this thing. I use one in my Misty stamping tool, but I also love to use this for stenciling because it holds down my stencil and my paper. Sorry, you know what? I'm not a fan of that ASMR business, but if that was, if I just talked over it for you and ruined it, I'm so sorry. And then I'm going to place this down onto my glass work surface. This is the Glassboard Studio glass mat. Oh my gosh, my dog is in here chewing on the toy now. Okay, this is just, she's just a piece of work today. And as I mentioned before, these are going to be the colors I use: Juniper, Tidepool, Lemongrass, and Grapefruit. And I'm going to use the Quirky Stripe stencil, and I'm also going to use the Deco stencil. So the Quirky Stripe stencil is designed as the name would suggest, with stripes being a little bit wonky. They're not like perfectly straight edges, but you still want to get this lined up pretty well. So I'm kind of like looking over the top. Once I get it where I want it, I'm going to press it down onto the grip mat, and now I have everything where I need it. Now, I will tell you that I decided to pull out my blending brushes from Altenew. I love these mini blending brushes. I've been working with these for a bit. If I had to be honest, in a perfect world, I would buy like an entire set of these if they were white. I kind of like the size, the way they fit in my hand. I like the flat tip, I'm not gonna lie. And I have one for each color here. But before I do, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use this backer. And what I'm gonna do is just use this to help me mask off. So can you see the edge there? I'm gonna mask that top line, and I'm gonna use Grapefruit and just blend across. my grapefruit looks like maybe it needs to be re-inked. So I'm just going to work my way across with the grapefruit. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And then I'm just going to take my microfiber cloth and just kind of wipe across so I'm not transferring ink. And I'm going to start working my way down. So the next thing the next color is going to be that second stripe, and I'm going to use the juniper. Lord, help me with these dogs. Okay, I'm not masking this one. I may regret that. We'll see. Yep, I regret it. That took about 10 seconds to regret that. So I'm just going to grab the bottom part of or the other piece. You guys, these dogs are driving me nuts today. I'm going to mask with this other piece that comes off of my grip mat. This is probably why I don't do like what I'll call live action videos, like where I'm crafting live, because these dogs, they make me crazy sometimes with their barking. And I know that they're just excited and that they see things and they want to protect me. But my goodness, they drive me nuts. Okay, moving down. So I'm going to move both of my masks down. And these fancy masks are just the covers for my grip mat. You can see this one's like real curled. I'm going to move to Tidepool. Okay. And then I'm going to go to Lemongrass. And then I'm going to keep working my way down. So I may just show you this last little stripe here and then just finish up. So you guys don't need to keep watching that, right? I mean, you're good. Super easy, nothing like earth-shattering here. Now we have dog wrestling going on. Okay. So that's lemongrass. Keep in mind, this is going to be the front of our present. Okay, I'm going to keep working my way down and then I'll just bring you guys back in at the end. Okay. Finishing up my last stripe here, and man, I went hard on that juniper there. Oh, something I wanted to tell you guys about. Speaking of juniper, I'm not going to spoil anything, but Concord 9th is doing a My Favorite Things of 2023. It is 2023 still. And I'm going to be on it. So December 14th. I don't remember what time it's going to happen, but be sure to stay tuned for that. I'm going to have some of your favorite crafty friends on there talking about their favorite things from 2023 from Concord 9th. So let's do the big peel and reveal here. Oh my goodness. Is that not the cutest? Ah, I love that. Okay. So because I don't want to like get it with my nail on accident, I'm going to just grab my tweezers and run that under there. Pull that up. And now I have that cute little stenciled pattern. This is going to be gift number 1. And now I'm going to grab the other piece here that will be my gift front, and I'm going to add it down. And for this one, I'm going to do something a little bit different, I think. I'm trying to calculate this in my brain. This is a 2-step stencil. And I am going to, now you could be like super precious about lining this up, but I don't think that's what I'm going to do. Because it's not really who I am. So let's just get this down and place that there. Does it look a little bit, I might need to move it just a tad. I don't like side to side how it looks. Top to bottom I'm okay, side to side I kind of want to center it up a little bit more. That looks about right. Oh, and I just moved it. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, side to side. Can I get it just right? And then press it down. Okay, all around the edges. And for all of the center parts on this, I'm going to do the lemongrass. That's my vision. Oh, Charlie just ran out like she's got something to bark at again. Oh, good Lord. So I'm just going to take and quickly do this over the entire thing. As I mentioned, I am not doing anything fancy with the stenciling. I am just adding the color on there. I just thought of something I could do over the other ones. I think it'll be fun. I thought maybe we could add some paste over the second stencil with the arches. You know, some of these stencils, they have numbers on them, but it doesn't super matter what order you go in. You can just go your own way. You can go your own way. Like that, you know. You do you, boo. Okay. So there is stencil number 1. I'm going to wipe it off. I've started wiping before I remove my stencils. I just find that I get less ink all over the place when I do that. So let's peel and reveal. It's not going to look like much because it's just the inside of those kind of rainbow patterns or whatever. And then we're going to go right over the top here. And I'm just going to kind of peek in, just kind of see that I get all those arches, kind of the middle of these, right? So lined up with that. And then once I get it done, I'm going to do this, press it down. Now, I don't know if I want to do like diagonals of these 3 other colors, or if I just want to go here and there. I feel like masking off the individual ones would be kind of tedious. Okay, I decided we're masking in rows. I think this will work. Yes. Okay, I just got to get my mask where it covers this row of arches, but doesn't cover up the bottom of the arch above it. Does that make sense? So you got to kind of watch your line here. I can see where my little arch is exposed there. So I can do this. And I have my grapefruit brush in my hand, but I don't think that's the one I'm going for first. I think I'm going to go Juniper first. No, let's go Tidepool. We're going to go Tidepool. And then we'll go Juniper and then Grapefruit. So Tidepool for the first line. Wipe. We're going to pick this up. We're going to go down a line This should go fairly quickly. I'm just making sure I have it in the right spot. I'm going to go with Juniper. The top part, let's use some scrapbook.com mint tape for this. Really nice kind of masking tape. Light tack, papery, so it doesn't, the ink doesn't really move across the surface. Okay, Juniper. Just like that. And then we'll pick up our masks, move them down. This could be so much fun to do a bunch of different colors, but I'm not sure that I wanted to fuss with that today. So, especially because I'm doing 2 cards, and so I didn't want to like go hard on the stenciling, you know? Okay. My grapefruit definitely needs to be re-inked. If anybody wants to just come over and be my crafty assistant for like 2 weeks, we could go through some projects together and you could refill all my stuff. I'll send you home with some craft supplies. All right, let's go here, next line. And we're gonna just repeat the pattern with the colors again. So I am going to just bring you back in at the end because we're just going to keep working our way down. Okay, so I'm just finishing off. There's like this partial little thing of arches down here. Now, if I would have done this stencil first, I would have lined it up to where there wouldn't have been that partial, but you live and you learn. So maybe it does make more sense to do the arches first, but then I am going to wipe this off and I'm going to wipe down the entire stencil. And then I'm going to come in. I have a product that I think would be really cool over the top of this. So let me grab that. Okay, so I'm going to use this Simon Hurley Solar Paste in Golden Hour. And this is a translucent paste that dries with like a sheen. There's different colors. Do you see that kind of golden color? And I'm going to, well, how do I want to do this? I don't want to make a huge mess, but I'm going to because that's what I do. So I'm just going to put some along the top, I think. And then I'm going to make sure that I grab my stencil and I grab my grip mat and I clean those up right away. So I'm just going to get that on there. Maybe I have enough, maybe I don't. I can always go back with more if I need to. And then I'm going to grab this thingamajig and I'm going to swipe down the entire thing and across. And I don't quite have enough, so I'm just going to go in with some more in some areas and then swipe down again. See, you're just learning along with me today. What works, what doesn't. And I'm hoping that I'm not going to take all the color away. I did use this before with It's My Party collection. If you haven't seen that, I have a collection with spellbinders that I designed along with them. And I used this over the balloon arch Stampin' Stencil. It looks really cool. Okay, I think we're in there. So now it's like clean up because I don't want to let this dry all over everything. So I'm going to just start cleaning this up and then I'm going to take my stencil and my grip mat to the sink. Oh, before I take that to the sink, I'm going to do the Mighty Peel and Reveal. Okay. Well, I can't see the colors, but I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to pull this off and I'm going to set it aside and let it dry. I'm trying to do this without like making a mess of that paste that I just put all over there. So let's see. Hi, Charlie. Hi. She's going to jump up on me now, cause a little problem. She really needs to be trained. That's something else my assistant could do while they're here. Help me train my dog. Okay. I must have gone too hard on some of this because I've kind of marred up the surface of my cardstock in a couple of places. But we're gonna just trust the process. I'm gonna put that aside. If we have to redo another front, we can. But for now, I'm gonna take all this over to, oh, I see what happened. I think the paste got under there and then it pulled up some of my paper. So we'll see what happens when it dries. Okay, there is now solar paste on my Stream Deck, which is what I use to switch between my cameras, which is totally fine. I'll clean it later. But anyway, that was an adventure. And I'm hoping that it dries back the way I think it's going to. I'm excited to see how that kind of works out. So now I have my all wrapped up dies here, and I am going to pick, this is where this is going to really help me because I want one to be a bow and one to be like this design. So a bow at the top of one and then this like pom-pom thing at the top. So I know that the pom-pom is going to be this piece and this piece and this piece. And then I know I'm going to create, I don't know that these are actually meant for it. I'm going to create box tops with those. I'm going to create a ribbon down the center. So I'm going to do this. I have this on each of them. And then I want the bow. So I know it's these pieces here and these pieces. I can just tell. And then these are the tails. And I'm just trying to see. Okay. This is the knot. And then maybe a couple of tags too, because tags are stinking cute. Okay. Now this one that's left creates this one. So you can create the bow as a double layer bow or a single layer bow, or you can do this kind of more loopy bow or the pom-pom bow. So let's just start die cutting. And I have some cardstocks that match all of my others. I think I'm going to do the box tops in the juniper color. Let me just start trimming these down so that they're more manageable. So when I am doing a lot of die cutting of pieces and figuring out where things go, I like to kind of just have my papers out and put the dies on the colors that I want to cut them from. So I know, for instance, that I'm going to want this middle layer of that in the Tidepool, and also the smaller layers of the bows are going to be in the Tidepool. This is going to be juniper. These are going to be juniper. These are going to be Tidepool. And Tidepool. I do have some gold set aside, and I might do that for my sentiment, which is the Oh Happy Day from the Short and Sweet dies. And then I think I'll do my tag. I could either do it from grapefruit or white. I'm not real sure yet. So let's just take some of these scraps that I have from earlier and maybe do the white. Now, because I like to just make the most of my time here, I'm going to flip this around. I'm using my Empress to do all my die cutting today. So I'm going to just flip this around, get these all organized, and I'm going to run a couple colors through at once. And then these pieces that are for the center of the box and the box top, I'll have to run through again, but at least I can do a bunch of this at once. And I might even die cut that. Okay, I have all of my die cutting done, and now I'm gonna start assembling these. And keep in mind, I haven't done this before, so I'm just going by the pictures on the packages and my gut feeling. So I'm gonna layer this on top of this to create my bow. Now the thing is about the bow, I'm not going to adhere it onto any package yet because I'm hoping that I can think of a way to place this onto the inner card to make it the feature by which you would pull the inner card out. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. So that would go there, and then where did I put the bow center? No, I cut it. Okay, well, maybe it'll show up here. Is it still in the still in the die? Little sneaky booger. I think this goes like this. Then maybe like that. Oh, this is the bottom. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, so cute. Okay. Not quite sure how to put that together yet. So, I mean, I know how to put it together. I just don't know how I want to put it together. So we're going to put the little pom-pom bow together. And we're just going to layer these on top. And I'm only gluing at the bottom of these so that if I want to fluff them up, I can. So like I can do this and just take them with my fingers and just kind of turn things up to make it a little more dimensional. Just like that. Okay, perfect. And then what I did for my box top is I cut 2 layers of the juniper for each so that it would have a little dimension. And I know that this was meant for ribbon in the center. I do not know that it will work as a box top, but that's what I'm kind of imagining. So we'll see if it works the way I think it's going to work. Okay, so those are glued together. I have my sentiment here. I'll probably deal with that in just a minute, but let me pull in our little stripe one because I'm not waiting for that one to dry. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking there would be a box top. This would go here. I can just trim a little bit of that off. That would go there. And then I would have like this somehow on top of this so that when it's down inside the pocket, you would just grab that to pull it off. I have an idea to make that work now that I'm playing with it. Sometimes you just got to get stuff out and play with it to see how you like it. Okay, cute. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. So I'll place this on my grid mat to where it's kind of centered up with that center line, because I like to use my grid mat for lining things up. And there will be some of this that needs to be trimmed off, so we'll do that. Actually, I might be able to just leave it and cover it up with my box top. I might just do that. Okay. Let's do that. And then I'm going to take this, which is my quote-unquote box top. Now it will also work down the center of your package as a thicker bow. But do I like it like, oh, maybe I like it without the box top. So here's the deal. I think I like it better without the box top. Maybe I'll just use this. I think I like that better. Okay, plan B. Do I rip this up or not? Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Okay, we're gonna do this. It's a double layer, yes, that's totally fine. Go right over the top of where I ripped that up before. Okay. Then I'm gonna take this, and this is the inner part of my pocket, or the inner card for my pocket. So this is the one that fits inside the back. And I'm gonna glue it just at the bottom center here. And we'll try to do it as much in the middle as we can. And then what I think I'll do, this needs to go over, you can see that. Okay, so just like that. So I just have the bottom of it glued on. I think what I'll do is then die cut another piece of this large one and back it to where it's kind of, this card is kind of sandwiched in, so that when you grab it, it will have a little bit more weight and sturdiness to it. And then what I'm going to do is just sneak a little bit of extra glue right here. And then a little bit of extra glue right here. Perfect. So I'll just cut that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I cut another one of these, and it is symmetrical. Is it symmetrical? It's not symmetrical, so I need to make sure that I have the front facing that back. And I'm just going to go right along the edge here with my glue. And I'm going to add some to this front side right here. And then I'll just put that right on top of the other. So just get that in there, kind of lined up with that. And then that should help make it a little more sturdy for when you're pulling it out of the pocket. And while I'm at it, and I have this in my hand, I'm just going to take some scissors and trim this off. So, okay. So honestly, our first one's almost done. That other one's still drying. And this is how I'm envisioning it. And maybe this is how Concord 9th intended it. I don't know. But look at that. Isn't that cute? And then this will just pull right out. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this. We are going to peel the backer like halfway on each of these. And we're going to make sure that we have the bottom tab at the bottom and the side tabs at the side, so the top will be open, and we'll place our little gift package on the front of this to create our pocket. So I have those three kind of held back. And then what I'll do is you kind of want to fold these out of your way when you're doing it like this. But this is going to be a little more forgiving than that quick stick of the double-sided tape. So I'm gonna just make sure that I get this on here straight. My dog's like, what are you talking to? Kind of like that. Am I good on the bottom? Am I good on the side? Just like that. Perfect. Once I get that done, then I can remove the rest of the adhesive and everything, except for when you rip it, everything is glued in place. So I ripped the backer on this bottom. Okay, perfect. So now that I have that on there, I can take the little inner card and just slide it in. You got to get it behind those tabs though, I think. I may have to trim it down just a teensy. I wanted it to be snug, but I don't want it to be too snug. Oh no, it works totally fine for that. Perfect. Now let's make a little tag and put that on here. Okay, so we have our Oh Happy Day stacked up, and now I am adding the little tag reinforcer on top of the tag. How stinking cute. I'm a sucker for a tag. And I'm going to put liquid adhesive just kind of on the left, this back left side, because I'm going to have it kind of hanging off the edge of the tag, this sentiment. I'm using my Pink Fresh Studio. Okay, this will kind of be, maybe I'm going to do it like this. Let's see how I want this on the actual gift. So maybe like, I think like that would be fine. Okay. And then I could have put probably glue in a couple more places. Let's just block that. And then I'm going to either use, let's see. Oh my goodness. I hear my refrigerator from my craft room. And it's making this noise like almost like a washing machine does when it's in the spin cycle. And I'm so afraid it's gonna die. I'm like, not at Christmas time. There's too many presents to buy. So we've had that fridge for a really long time. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's met its time, but I would really prefer that it did not happen during the holiday season. Or after, for that matter. I just don't want it to happen, but it keeps making like this, like washing machine noise. Okay, we're gonna put this right there. So cute. I love that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to place this onto this card front using some more foam adhesive. This is my DIY foam adhesive, by the way. I have a video here on my channel where I talk you through how I create my own foam adhesive. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Oh my goodness. And I just want a little twine for that. So I have some twine. I'm gonna loop it through. I should be a pro at this. I just created 230 ornaments for our church volunteer party. I created them with my Glowforge, which is a laser cutting machine. That's a whole rabbit hole. If you just want to go down a rabbit hole, you know, let me know. But also let me know if you want to get one because I have a referral code. Anyway, just made 230 ornaments and did that all like, did all the like stringing of the leather through it on my own. Oh, I just love that. I think I'm gonna like leave it like that because I kind of like that. So we'll do this. And place that right there. I mean, if you wanted to do something with these ends, you could, but I kind of like it like that. And then we have our little slide out card. You could tuck a gift card in there. You could write your personal note. You could put a gift card on the top and write a personal note below. And that's so cute. Okay, I just want to finish up my other one so I can come back and show you guys that. Oh, so cute. Okay, so let me show you what happened. I was not so patiently waiting for this background to dry, and because it wasn't drying as quickly as I wanted it to, I hit it with a heat tool and I bubbled it up. So I'm going to make a new card front. Isn't that shine pretty though? Oh, so pretty. I'm going to make a new card front. I'm going to skip the paste this time, and then we'll put together card number 2. Okay, so sorry. This time my grip mat is still wet, and so I just grabbed my stamp wheel because it has the same kind of photopolymer surface in the center, and I'm gonna just use that to hold my stencil and my paper in place. And this time, because okay. Because I know kind of where the colors are gonna land, I am just gonna do both of them at both lines at one time. And also I made sure that I didn't have like a partial arch on the bottom, and I'm doing stencil number 1 first. Remember the first time I did stencil number 2 first, and then I had the partials. So that's why I'm doing this like this. So I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I just wanted to mention those things. Okay, I am done. Took just a couple minutes to do that. Love this. Love this background. I am a sucker. I think the stripes work so well and so easy to mask off in stripes. So I think that's great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and assemble this bow, but I can tell by the way that this bow is designed that it's not going to quite work as well sitting flush up against the top of this. So I have an idea to just create a tab of white cardstock and attach it to the top of this to just make a place for my bow to adhere and kind of allow me to create the vision that I want to create. So it's a little bit of just thinking outside of the box when putting this together so that you can kind of get the look that you want to get. And I don't know, I think this goes like this. Probably doesn't really matter. It looks like a piece of toast, honestly. I'm gonna be real. So the little round part is gonna go towards the top, like this rounded part. And then these are going to go onto my gift package, but I don't want to do that part until I get the bow on there and slide it into the pocket. And you may notice that I already have my tag put together because you guys have already seen me do that part. So I didn't want to bore you with that. But what I am going to do, I have some scrap white cardstock here, and I am going to cut it to maybe an inch by 1.5. Okay. This is just me guessing is really what this is all about. Then I'm going to grab my scoreboard again, and I'm going to score this at 3/4 of an inch to just fold it in half and make a tab. Just slide that back in the drawer. trying to stay a little bit tidy, but you guys should see my craft room right now. It is a hot mess. So if I do this and I put this here, will this cover? It's a little long. We can just trim a little down. Now we could, honestly, we could just let it go further down onto the card, the inner card, but I don't really want to do that. I don't want too much of it showing. So I'm just going to try to trim it as much as I can to get it to the right size. And then I'm just going to use this. Now I could use liquid glue, but the reason I'm not using liquid glue is because I want this to just kind of stick right away with a firm stick and not have to really worry about it. So I'm going to remove one part of this here. I'm going to put this on my craft mat and just kind of center it up as best I can. As best as I can. Okay, so then we have one, and we have the other, so it's just like a folded tab right at the top. And you could do that for this one too. The other bow just seemed to work a little better. So what I don't want is for this bow to go too far down inside of my package because it's not quite as tall as the other one. So what I'll do is just put a little liquid glue right here, and I'm going to hover it right above the package right here. Do you see that? Or that inner card. There's just like a little tiny little gap. And then I'll flip this over, and to clean up the back, I'm going to add these white pieces. So this is going to go here. Just like that. This one's going to go here, just like that. Then I can slide it into the pocket. Oh, that's going to be perfect. That little gap made all the difference so that it can sit kind of flush at the top of this. And then what I think I'll do is put these. Now, I will tell you this. If you want this to go in an A2 size envelope, don't let your tails hang off the bottom or the side, I mean. So over here, just kind of watch where you're putting that. And you could put them this way, or you could put them the way I'm doing it. I think I'm going for a more whimsical look. And so I'm going to do it like this. Okay, perfect. I'm going to slide those up to the top. Love that. And then I'm just going to put my little Oh Happy Day tag right in the center, kind of just like I did before. I feel like, should these have been a little further over? I feel like they should have been. We're going to fix that now. They're going to go a little further over, and I'm going to have glue in the center of this. But if I need to, if the tag doesn't cover it, so this won't fit in an A2 envelope anymore because these are coming off the sides. But if I need to, I can just recut another strip of that juniper. But look, I think this is going to be just fine on there. Just like that. And I don't even think you can see that glue that's right there. So I'm not going to worry about it. Probably going to give it to my brother anyway. He won't notice. Okay, so there you have it. 2 slider surprise birthday cards featuring these all wrapped up dies from Concord and 9th, as well as a couple of the new stencils. These short and sweet die sets might be one of my new favorite things ever from Concord and 9th. I think they are perfect size and I love the font. As always, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me here at the Sprinkled with Glitter studio. As always, I will have links to the featured products featured in these projects in the description at YouTube. So if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there. You can also join me over at my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I'll have that linked below, or over on Instagram. I'm Carissa Wiley there. As always, I just want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's a pleasure having you here. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here so you don't miss any of my paper crafting and card making video tutorials. Thanks again for joining me. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.